Hello everybody, this is the guy behind the Nautical Wisdom Teeth Smalls channel, aka Jim. And today we have a skeleton. And you may be asking yourself, why do we have a skeleton? Well, I'm going to teach you some bones. It's time we learn about bones, everyone. I feel like we're a little bit too nonchalant when it comes to the bones in ourselves. Now, we have bones in us. This is the arm bone, the forearm bone. Is this one right here? What is that called? Of course, there's not just one bone, but two. You see right here, there's two bones, the radius and the ulna. Now, I'm reading off of a paper here because obviously I don't really know what I'm talking about. I haven't really studied any bones. I'm like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 years old. Of course, I wouldn't know anything about the radius or the ulna, that being this bone and this bone. The radius is this one, I think. That's the radius, yeah. That would look like it would be the radius because it's flip-flopped. This part of the bottom here is all like big, and then here it's really small. And it says that here on the paper. It says that too. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, the ulna has this weird thing right here at the proximal end. Now, I gotta explain some other terms to you real quick. First of all, proximal is closer to the torso, that being this thing. I'm gonna get rid of this circle because you don't really need it, but let's write it down so that you can remember it better. Proximal, close to torso. Closer to torso. And then what would you call this end? The end that's on the other side. Well, that would be distal. Farther from torso. Now, this is important when it comes to identifying dead bodies in like a ditch or something, so that you know which bone is which. Like, what if they just found this random bone? They didn't have the other one, and then they had like some rib cage somewhere, and they're like, oh, I don't know which bone it is. Oh, well, you see, the proximal end is smaller, so it has to be the radius, right? That's short for radius. It looks like a, here, let's fix that. Rad. And then the other one, oh well, the proximal end is wider. It's the ulna. Okay, cool. What about this one, huh? You probably don't know the name of that one. You're probably thinking, and you would be right. It's a good thing I have my cheat sheet right here. It's called humerus. Humerus. Unfortunately, it's not the way we think it's spelled. It's like this, humerus. It's not like ha ha ha, that was a funny joke, humorous. It's just, that's what they named the bone. They probably named it after some dude named Humorous. And honestly, I don't blame them. Why would they name it after some dude named Humorous? And then back here, you got the scapula. It's not really that important. You kind of don't really even need it. Actually, yeah, you do need it. It's for your like back and stuff. And then this is the skull. Of course, not every single bone in this area is called the skull. This is the cranial region. Okay? And more so the top part is called the skull. But there's other important parts, like this middle section of the right here in between your freaking noses and stuff. That's your maxilla. Maxilla. And then you have this part, which is your jaw. That's also called your mandible. 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 Right? That's this bone, okay? So this is the cranial region of your brain. Now there's other bones here, but we're not going to talk about them because they're not as important, and you probably won't have to learn them. But this is your jaw. You eat with this. Oh look, I'm gonna eat. I don't know why I'm drawing teeth. They're right here, and also the mouth would be up here. Actually, if your mouth was fully open, it would be like this. Actually, no. You know what? This is what your mouth looks like when it's closed. So it would actually be like this. It's just our lips are concealing our teeth. So while you see teeth and you're like, oh, his mouth is wide open, that's actually not true at all. Your teeth are always there. So when they say, smile, show your teeth, you could just be like, oh, it's okay, my teeth are there, I know they're there. So that's great. So let me just draw the other parts of the mouth so that you know that that looks like a bean. Here, let's make it a canoe, actually. Okay, okay. So this is, your mouth doesn't actually look like this. It doesn't actually look like that. Your mouth doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like a canoe. You can see clearly because my mouth doesn't look like that. Now, if your mouth does look like that, then that's what your mouth looks like. But that's not what is important at all to bones. Bones are the inside. You can't see them, and you're not supposed to. If you can see your bone, that's a bit of a problem. You need to get that checked out. So let's focus. Let's focus. Okay, let's quiet down. Anyway, this is the pelvis right there. That whole section is considered the pelvis, but they're made up into different parts. All right, this is the round part. It's also known as the pelvis. Okay, and this part right here, all people have them, but the way it's structured is different per person. That part is part of the pelvis. Okay, so then you have the single biggest and strongest bone in the entire human body, the femur. Now, if you can break a femur, that's bad. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to break the femur. The fingers, they're called phalanges and are really important. Anyway, that's the femur. It's the biggest bone, and don't get it confused with the humerus if you find a corpse, okay? So just know that the femur is really big. But you may be thinking to yourself, oh, but how am I supposed to know the difference between a femur and a really big humerus? Huh? Well, it's simple. The femur has a different proximal end because it attaches to the pelvis. I circled the wrong thing. This is part of the femur. The humerus doesn't have that because it's attached to the shoulder, which allows you to do this and stuff. Your leg is not as flexible, usually is not as flexible as your arm. Like your arm, you can move it wherever you want and stuff. But your leg doesn't really have a lot of mobility in the horizontal direction. It can only, or in this way, in the side, left, right, it can only move forward and back with a lot of flexibility, but left and right, not really too much. It has this thing, which connects to the pelvis, which allows it to move front and back. Humerus doesn't have that because it's connected to the shoulder, and it allows for more free-form movement, which is good for moving, but bad for dislocating your shoulder when the humerus goes all the way right here. That's bad. That's why you don't really dislocate your femur, is because it's much more sturdier put on so that you have a lot of mobility in your leg, and also because you put a lot more pressure on your legs because you're standing. All right, I'm standing right now. Look, see, I'm standing. I'm standing. I'm not sitting down. Okay, so your femur has to be really strong, and if it dislocates as often as your shoulder would if you were standing on it, it's not a great thing. And then there's a bottom part right here. It looks pretty similar to the humerus, so make sure you keep that in mind. Some rib cages here. That's where your heart is. This is your sternum. Bet you knew that. It's right here on our thing. Now we have two other bones, leg bones. And whoa, why do you have two leg bones? Beats me, actually. I don't really know why you have the fibula. Fibula, whoa, stop pointing out names here. Anyway, the little tiny, stupid, little idiotic moron bone you have right there is called fibula. And I don't really know what it's used for. I was listening to it in class, and I didn't understand what the point of it was. He didn't bring it up that often, but anyway, it's the tibia that is actually the important bone. Tibia is the big one. It's the one that holds the pressure in your leg. It's the one that actually supports you and is used for a good structural system. How it's different from the femur is the same thing as how it's different from the humerus, is that this thing right here is thinking. And then I think this part right here is more flat than the humerus up here where it's less flat, pretty sure. But everyone's different, so I don't know if your bones, comment down below if your bones are different from this. Anyway, these are also called phalanges. This is your foot. And then this is your spine. Don't break it. It hurts. Trust me. You also have some parts in your pelvis that are named differently. They're pretty important too. Let me see. Let me look at my notes. Let me look at the. Yeah. So the important part. Oh, it's called the sacrum. So this part right here, where your tail used to be, because we had tails. You know, we used to have tails, but now we don't. It's called sacrum. That's what that is. So yeah, all of this is really important stuff. This is the skeleton, right here. And this is what we have working for us, our structures, all day long, constantly. This thing is here all the time. It's in every person that is alive. Like you see Markiplier walking down the street and he's like, "Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier." He actually has a skeleton system. This is inside of him. Did you know that? Well, now you do. Anyway, I need to get more notes because the innominate. That's what it's called. The innominate. Now, this whole thing is the pelvis, but this part is the innominate, and then this is the other innominate. There's two of them. Did you know that? Did you know that you have two? Yeah, you did. It's not just one. They're connected by loose pieces of tissue. You can see right there. It's like a belt. It's like a belt. That's just good. It's his holster. Right. Anyway, that doesn't look like where his holster would be. It'd be like up there. Yeah. Let me give him some pants, so that he actually It's just like good enough. Okay. So anyway, this is what it would look like if a skeleton was wearing pants. And then I'm pretty sure these are called the pubis. Yeah. All right. So that's the pubis. And then there you go. That's the bones. That's the important bones, at least. So that's all the bones of the body. Let's do another brief rundown, okay? Maxilla is the face. Mandible is the jaw. Skull is right here. A humerus, where your muscles are. And then you have radius and ulna. And the radius has a big distal. Ulna has a big proximal. And then you have your spine, of course. You know where the spine is, your back, the thing, your rib cage, and your sternum, or like, whatever. Your phalanges at the end of your hand. And you got this pelvis area. This part is called the ilium. And then this part is called the ischium. And this is your pubis. And then this is your sacrum. And then you have the strongest bone, femur, with this little handle right here. Then you got your tibia, the important one, and your fibula, the not important one, and then your other phalanges. That's the bones. That's all the bones. Aside from like the 190 that I missed, but yeah.